What's going on, guys? Boosted Whips here. Today we're going to be showcasing the carbon fiber trunk with the built-in spoiler, duckbill on it. I didn't do a step-by-step install, but I am going to show you little tips and go over through what this install entails. The install is fairly easy. However, there is a specific part that's going to take you the longest. There are some push clips that are very tedious to maneuver with. They are in a very tight spaces, and they're just really hard to pop off. So majority of your time is going to be spent there. If that wasn't there, I would say this would be like a 15 to a 30-minute install tops. But because of those stubborn clips, you will probably be there for a few hours actually. So let's go ahead and go over of what this entails, and we'll go over everything just to cover the basis. So if you are looking to do this mod, you already know what you're getting yourself into if you want to do DIY, of course. We're gonna go ahead and pop the trunk here. As you guys notice, it slingshots up, so I would recommend once you do the install to be careful when you open that up. So it's less weight, so I want to say it's about half or more reduction compared to your OEM trunk. Here's my air suspension tank setup, so don't pay mind to that. So focusing on the setup here, the liner must come off. So we're gonna do it already with this trunk already installed, but I will go ahead and tell you more or less what needs to be done. The first step you want to do is go ahead and remove or push down these plastic cover that's over the hinge. To do so, you want to go ahead and remove these two clips. They're very easy to remove. You just push in the center pin. Can grab from here, and it comes right off, and you'll do this on both sides. Like so, and then this just slides down. So that would give you access to one of the bolts that it's hitting under there. Go ahead and move the camera up. It'll give you access to this bolt right here, and the other one will be exposed once you remove the liner. So in order to remove the liner, first you need to remove this plastic, so that way it's out of its way from the liner that's also tucked into this plastic piece. Next step is to go ahead and remove the liner. The liner is held on by some push clips. I believe there's 2 to 4. So you will remove that all around, very visible, with the clip remover tool. And once that's off, there are 3 push pins behind the actual liner, which comes off. So I have this here just for illustration purposes, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I'm not able to put the liner back just yet, but you'll see how there's those green clips that are there. Those are pushed into the OEM trunk. You just apply pressure and the liner pops off. Once that's done, you also need to go ahead and remove with this cover. This cover kind of removes pretty much easily, but it's behind the actual liner. So this goes right where the hinge goes, so you can pop that side off, and then the handle that goes in this area right here, you also gotta unclip it from the back. So once you have the liner off, you'll have access to maneuver that handle from the inside. It's kind of like a push clip mechanism to release and finalize removing the liner. The next step you want to go ahead and do is remove these nuts out of here. They're 10 millimeters and there's 5 of them. So starting from left to right, you'll see one there, 3 by the center area where that connector is, which is where your camera is, and 1 on the right hand side. Thereafter, what you want to do is unmount these wires, which are zip tied but with a push clip. From the inside, you want to go ahead and push on each little corner and they come off. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 locations. You'll see them here. The reason I have it zip tied is because another thing that you're gonna have to do is drill holes if you want to put this back as a push clip on the carbon fiber version of the trunk. So that doesn't come pre-drilled, so you have to drill them. I believe it's a 1/4 inch if I'm not mistaken, so I have to drill that if I want to put this all back as it is. So if I want to put these wires back on and the liner, I have to drill some holes, which I'll go ahead and I'll show you which ones they are. So that's that. Once you remove that, you want to go ahead and remove the connector as well. This is also a push, so you just push and slide back. And then this one is the same thing. This is your camera plug. You want to go ahead and remove that as well. And once that's out of the way, you want to go ahead and remove also the hinge assembly. So that's being held by another 10 millimeter bolt on the right hand side and another one on this side on the left hand side. So this whole thing comes off. Again, once the connectors are off, so this whole piece just comes off of the actual trunk. So then we'll move to the next part of the install. Up next, the most tedious part of the removal of this is messing around with those yellow butterfly plastic clips that are coming from the top. So there's about 1, 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about like 8 or 9 of these. Let me try to give you a pan view so you guys can see more or less where they're located. But the hardest ones are the ones that are all the way towards the edge. The space is very limited. You're gonna need different tools, which I'll show you what I used. But again, you'll be fidgeting back and forth, left and right, until you're able to pop those off. Alright, so these are angle views here. About 2 there. There's more towards the back. Hard to see. I don't think I'll be able to catch it with the camera. But there's more towards that corner, all the way towards the back. There's another one on this back area here. There's also 2 that are not accessible coming from the behind side. There's about 2 of them here, and then on the opposite side is the same 3. So you'll have, can't see it neither here. Let me see if I can catch, oh, there you can catch one there. So there's one all the way back there, hard to focus on the camera, but there's one back there, and then there's another one tucked in to the inside. So those are the clips you're gonna be fidgeting mostly with for a few hours. I definitely recommend the second person and different pry tools, angled pliers like a 90-degree plier, regular straight pliers, and definitely long screwdrivers. And the pliers should be long. I use short ones, and that took me a long time, just because you have to get your hand between all this in here, very constricted space. But it can get done with a lot of patience. So I'll show you the tools that I used so you guys have an idea more or less. But again, you should be able to use other tools out there. But I got it done with whatever I'm about to show you. Tools that I used to get these stubborn clips, as you guys can see, it's a very hard butterfly. They don't press as easy as your other traditional ones. So you have to be squeezing at a very correct angle. If you guys notice, I kind of broke this one. So out of all of them, I ended up breaking about 3 or 4. You can buy those as a replacement. I recommend replacing all 9. I didn't, but if you can find these, I would highly recommend replacing all 9 after doing this install. Shouldn't cost much in my opinion. I haven't really looked, but worth a shot. So we start with your traditional pin or clip remover. I use this mainly to kind of reach and try to press on one of the butterfly sides, or to kind of move and turn the clip, because sometimes depending on your vehicle it might not be completely turned, so you won't have access to one of the sides. So you want to go ahead and turn this so that you're able to press one side, press the other one, and push up. So with the regular pliers, you can use that to squeeze. Again, if you have a longer one, definitely recommend it. Longer one of this one as well. This is a 90-degree also. This helps me with the pushing on the left and right of the butterfly. This as well, in case I wasn't able to get a good angle with that, a flathead screwdriver can also push on one of those sides. And way more than this. I only use 3, but if you use, I would probably use more than 5 to 8 of these pry tools. This is to create pressure from the exterior of the faceplate. So I'm gonna show you guys what needs to come off as well, where you're pushing. So we need to remove the front faceplate where all the logos are, and that's where all these yellows clips are located behind it, which you're pushing from under. So you're pushing from under to push away that faceplate. So from the outside, you also want to be maneuvering corner by corner and applying that pressure with this, and also with a second hand to help you while somebody is inside the trunk pushing on those yellow clips. This front plate is the one that's gonna come off. So those push clips, you want to start from one of the corners and work your way around. So those push clips are behind this. So I started on one side. The easiest for me was the left side, driver's side. When I started from the passenger side, I wasn't able to get that last corner clip all the way at top, which is the hardest. You don't want to push in the center first, because you're not going to be able to have enough pressure to be popping these clips off. So you want to start from the corner. So we'll work, somebody's pushing from the inside with a pry tool stuck in, and while they're pressing from the inside, those butterfly little corners, to squeeze them and push them up as they pop off. So you'll have one here, you have one like around here, and one around the corner. Once you get those, you can start getting the ones on the upper area and start to kind of push and tucking in those pry tools, somebody pushing from the inside. And don't force this. This is going to take some patience from you. It's also going to break your spirit. I'm telling you from from experience. So the hardest ones that you're going to have is these in the center. There's 2 of them. They're just not accessible from the inside. So those, you're going to have to break them off for sure. So once you get to this middle section, my recommendation, and this was worked for me, is to start now on the opposite side. So come back this way as well. As you're popping off, all the clips are in the middle. Come to the middle section on this side, and these last 2, once you have enough tucking in, that's why I said about 6 to 8 pry tools, so you have enough pressure all around. I'm sure there's different processes that you can do, but that's what worked for me and my experience on this. I'm sure there's smarter ways to go ahead and do this. You can even probably put little wood pieces, I would say. That wasn't readily available for me, so I didn't do that. So then these 2, again, you're gonna have to most likely break it or access it from the inside to kind of unhinge it from its socket. The little circle goes inside a plastic socket on the inside. You want to push those off. I ended up breaking them. Then this whole piece comes off, and then the last step, I'll go ahead and I'll cover it now. Once everything is removed successfully, especially the front faceplate, you're gonna go ahead again. You're gonna need a second person in order to hold one side, because just doing it by yourself is nearly impossible. You want to go ahead and remove these 10mm bolts on both sides and then the trunk just slides out. You want to go ahead and replace the new one, and then you want to go ahead and reverse the steps, putting this back and then putting all the connections. So I'm gonna cover the holes that you may need to do it. I've asked the manufacturer to go ahead and do this starting now with new productions. So there may be done or not done, and there is a chance that you may need to still do some of these holes to have a full complete OEM look with the liner, and making sure that the connectors are all situated. So I'm going to cover the main one, where you need to do and what size you should be using to drill that out. The first hole you need to drill out is this area here. Again, this is disconnected already, and the other piece that's coming in is part of the faceplate that were removed. So before doing anything, you want to go ahead and drill this hole. It's marked, it's just not drilled out. So what you need to use is a 1 1/4 inch drill. I'm using this, and you want to go ahead and drill that hole out. Once you drill that out, you'll be able to install this connector back when it's time to put everything back. The next ones you want to do, if you want to put your liner back, you want to go ahead and do these holes, drill them out. This one here, remember there's 3 with those green clips that I showed you in the beginning of the video. This one where it's marked where I was going to start, and then the last one in the corner, right where these square marks are, right here. So they are indicated, just not drilled out. So you want to do those 3 if you want to put your liner back on. If you want to go ahead and put these wires back how they were, same thing. You want to go ahead and drill these areas here, those circles that are there, and that should do it. I believe it's 3 or 4 of them. I mean, they're pretty much marked and indented. You just need to drill them out, and that will enable you to put these clips back on, so you guys can see. So you just need a hole to bloop, secure them in there. For now, I have it zip tied. Just like I said, it wasted all my energy, so I'll probably go back another day here, drill those things out, and give it that OEM look, put the liner back on, put those wires nice and snapped in. Other items that get transferred over are this little rubber and plastic little standoffs that go for the trunk when you close it. So these have to transfer over. There's 3 or 4 clips from the inside, very easy and accessible. The holes here, there's like a rubber grommet that are on the OEM. I don't think we need to transfer those over, but if needed, then they need to be drilled out and transferred over as well. It's a little rubber grommet, but it's not on drilled out. So this is where the handle goes in. So as well, that's perfectly done, so you don't have to worry about that. This cover again is part of the liner, so you just come in and it snaps in. So let me see if I can take this off with one hand. So you will put this back part back on again with the two 10mm bolts that go on there, and then this just snaps in once you put the liner back again, once you drill those holes that I aforementioned. And that is pretty much it, what entails on the install. There you have it. If you guys have any questions, comments, go ahead and drop them below. I try to cover the most I can, and this was a tedious install, very hard to capture on camera, especially without knowing the tedious part of those 3 extra 4 hours fidgeting with those clips. So but if you have any questions, just let me know. Again, available on our website at boostthewhips.com under the Genesis G70 category. Thanks for watching. Until next time, boost the whips. I'm out. Have a very pleasant day, and God bless.